Today we are looking at the case of Lindsay Clancy. At 6:11 p.m., a man called Patrick Clancy calls 911. When the police got there, they found that these kids had been strangled with an exercise band. And her husband's mother, or I believe her own mother, was in the house. The husband fought her off, took the gun, broke it into pieces, and for some reason he was able to knock the husband off with something and went to take a knife, slit the throats of her kids, and held one of the babies whilst her husband was telling her to stop and telling her, say your last words, I'm going to kill him, and blah, blah, blah. And actually tried to kill the child. In her case, she had been in a mental institution for 18 months, and they released her that she was okay to come and take care of her children. And this happened.
It's another episode of Crime de la Crime, where we go into crimes, who has done what, who has said what are the consequences, what follows. And today, I'm gonna this man around to Barrister Naomi. I'm back again. And I'll be doing this with Taylor Marik. Yep. Taylor Marik, what's the crime today?
Before I go into what we have to say, today, I mean, like she said, Amabella is not around. She's working. She's moving around with some of her brands, and they've been traveling around the country, so she's not available today. So much work, she's been doing so much work. So just for today, my co-host will be
Barrister now, guys.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Recently, there's a big trial happening in the States, and it has started a discourse all over the world, I believe.
TikTok.
There's a lot of conversations about it on TikTok. Especially, there are a lot of videos from influencers and crime influencers and a lot
Why
of people.
Why are you doing this?
People, they claim they are.
But yeah, also a crime influencer.
Yeah, there are videos that they are pushing out to explain what's going on and all of that. And some people are taking these videos for what it is. Like, they actually believe, because obviously they're expecting that people on there are giving them the right information.
Yeah.
And so people have been divided about the whole thing. And so my job here is simple. I want to come and present the facts as it has happened or is happening from the trial itself. We are not cutting corners. We are not looking at what Headless is telling us or what Marik is telling us. We are going to the trial itself.
We are not here to investigate.
No. We are not here to investigate because the investigative bodies, they've done their work.
Okay.
And the trial is still happening.
Ongoing
right now. It is believed that it will be finished on Monday, where the closing statements will be laid out, and then whatever will happen will happen. But yeah, so today we are looking at the case of Lindsay Clancy. We are looking at the case of Lindsay Clancy, and the story is a very sad one. So basically, it's the Wednesday, 24th of January 2023, which is 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
And at 6:11 p.m., a man called Patrick Clancy calls 911.
Clancy, that's her husband.
That's the husband.
Okay.
So Patrick had reached home and had discovered a gruesome scene. He found his wife, Lindsay, lying in snow, cuts on her wrist and cuts across her neck, and couldn't move.
Okay.
So he called 911 to their house, 47 Summer Street in Dewsbury.
Hey. My location.
I want you to know that. I want you to know. I mean, it's not like Ghana. This information free. Well, they are not afraid of anything. But the police, investigators, fire, EMS, they arrive at the location and they find 3 children deceased. Cora, 5 years. Dawson, 3 years, and Callan, who was 8 months old.
Aww.
And what happened was they transported them to the Boston Children's Hospital. Then, unfortunately, for Cora and Dawson, they were deceased. Yeah, they were deceased. But Callan survived for a minute, and was hospitalized in another children's hospital for about 3 days until he passed.
No.
So that is what everything I'm coming to discuss is about. What
Who
happened
did it?
over there? Who
Why-
did it?
yeah.
The details of what happened and all of that. But before we get into that, let's go back to 2016 when Patrick and Lindsay met through someone they knew.
Okay.
Lindsay was a roommate to, I believe, Patrick's cousin also, and so they met through that. And in 2013 actually. So they met in 2013. They started talking. In 2015, they bought a house together, started living together, and then in 2016 they got married. Right. So later, they started living. They moved about 2 houses before they finally ended up at 47 Summer Street, where they were living. Lindsay was a labor and delivery nurse.
Okay.
And she had been working at the Massachusetts General Hospital from 2014. Now, know that I'm not going to say Massachusetts again. I'm going to use MA. I beg you, pa. But she started working from the MA General Hospital in 2014. Patrick was into tech.
Okay,
and so he's been working in the tech industry and moved to working with Microsoft in 2020. So it is believed that he's currently still working with Microsoft. And so they got married 2017. Their first child, Cora, is born. Then in September of 2019, Dawson was also born. So that's a 2 years difference. And then Callan was born in 2022, May 26, 2022. Now, this is very, very vital, this date, because it is after this birth that things started going wrong. So, Callan is born in May of 2022. In September of 2022, that same year, Lindsay is diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Over the following months and going into October, the thing sort of got worse.
Okay.
Right? So she was prescribed multiple psych medications for her symptoms, which included anxiety, depression, and insomnia. Then in October of 2022, there was a further deterioration of her mental state, right? To the point that on a particular day in October, she texted her mom saying that she needed her around.
Okay.
She couldn't sleep, blah, blah, blah. So her mom actually went to the house to stay with her for a while, for I believe a week before she went back. But between October to the date I mentioned, the 24th January 2023 incident, the mom would come in and come and help and stuff like that. In fact, there's evidence presented that she indeed experienced severe insomnia, anxiety, paranoia, depression, suicidal thoughts. Yes. Okay. This is very vital again. And in December of 2022, whilst her mom was in their home and they were having a conversation or whatever, and she told both her mom and Patrick, her husband, that she was having thoughts of harming the children. This is in December of 2020, early December of 2022. And so then it is believed that on December 4th, 2022, she made calls to 2 suicide hotlines, supposedly saying that she was feeling suicidal. Okay. Not necessarily saying she was going to, but she was feeling suicidal. Okay. And it is reported by her defense in the current trial that she did not get help. In fact, they turned her away.
Because I want to ask you that, so all of these times where she was feeling suicidal and then she had her own episodes and all of that. Where was the husband?
He was around. But what could you
Did he know?
No, he knew. So I'll get into all of these.
Okay.
So then on January 1st, so into the new year, that now we are in 2023.
Yeah.
From January 1st to January 5th, she herself thought that she wasn't well. So she checked herself in at a hospital called McLean Hospital. It's a mental health hospital.
She herself went there.
So she checked in, yes.
Okay.
So for 5 days she was there. And after the 5th day, she was cleared by doctors that she was okay. In fact, she herself told the doctors that she feels like she's responding to the treatment. And the doctors went through what she was saying and how she was behaving and felt that yes,
she's okay.
She was okay to go home. And that was also because on the 7th they had planned a birthday for Cora.
Okay, that's a first child.
Yes, that's the first child. Even though that was not the 7th January was not necessarily a birthday. It was man's prayer, but I believe because of the situation she was going in, it was actually in December, right? But because of what was happening and how she was in, they couldn't have time to do the birthday party, so that's why. So yes, she went to go and do the birthday party and all of that. Then on the 23rd of January, this is a day before the incident, her psychiatrist Jennifer Tots conducted a virtual appointment. In fact, Jennifer had been her psych doctor for months, and she had 14 virtual appointments with her. None was physical, by the way. And so on that 23rd, he had another virtual evaluation with her where she spoke with her, and she, even though she was depressed, she felt like it was better than the previous days, right? And then 24th January is when the incident happened. Now I'm going to give a brief description or detail of what exactly happened. This is very, very gruesome, and so for some of you, please forgive us. But when the police got there, what they found the 3 kids in the basement of the house. It's a 2-story building with a basement. And when they went there, they found that these kids had been strangled with an exercise band, an elastic exercise band, 3 of them. And Lindsay herself had cuts, as I said already, on her wrist and on her neck, and she couldn't move. So that is what happened on the 24th. Lindsay suffered a broken rib. She had a thyroid damage. Thyroid is in the throat, right? And she had...
she suffered those?
She suffered those.
Yes. How did she suffer? Like, you said she suffered a rib. She injured her rib.
So it is believed that after the incident, it is believed that after she had killed her kids, she went to their bedroom where she jumped from the window from that story and to the ground. And so that's why she encountered those fractures. And the cut, obviously, on her neck, trying to self-harm, was what caused the damage. She also had a severe spinal damage. She couldn't walk. And as it stands now, she cannot walk. She's paralyzed. So in the trial happening now, she's paralyzed. And so that's one thing to note. But from after the incident, she herself was taken to South Shore Hospital. Then she was moved to another hospital called the Brigham and Women's Hospital. Then she was moved later, I believe in March of 2023, to another hospital. And then she was moved to another hospital for a rehabilitation hospital. And then finally, she's currently with us in a psych hospital called Tewksbury Hospital. So that is where she is. She's not in prison. She's not in jail. She is coming to the trial. She's coming to the trial from the hospital. So that is where she was happening now. Now, after the incident, which happened in January, on the 7th of February 2023, she was officially charged with 3 counts of murder, 3 counts of strangulation, 3 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, right? And she pleaded not guilty. Then in October of 2023, few months after, the counts changed, or the charges changed. It now moved to 3 counts of murder and 3 counts of strangulation. That means they had taken out the assault and battery charge. Then before the trial, which is currently happening, the strangulation charges was dropped, and now what she's facing is 3 counts of murder. 3 counts of murder. Right? Then, so between all these times, it's believed that between 2024 to 2025, her defense came out and developed a lack of criminal responsibility or insanity defense for what happened. And I will explain that later.
Okay.
So that happens. She's charged, obviously has to go to trial. And then in January of this year, before the trial could even begin and everything relating to the trial could begin, she filed a civil lawsuit against the health institutions and the health professionals who treated her before the incident.
Why?
So, in the civil lawsuit, she states and agrees that she killed her children because she entered into a state of psychosis. And it is because she was not given the right care by these institutions and the health professionals. I want us to note this very carefully. So, she has accepted, her lawyers have accepted that she did the killings. Note that I am not saying murder. She did the killings. Murder is a legal term, and it sort of represents some sort of responsibility for killing, right? Someone can be killed, but it might not be murdered. So, for instance, someone can be killed through an accident,
okay,
like a car accident. Okay. It's not murder.
So somebody needs to be doing the
someone
killing
needs to be responsible for it to be murder. So she has accepted that she is responsible for killing them, but she was not criminally responsible for the act because she entered into a state of psychosis because of the treatment.
What if she said that's based on the psychosis?
So that's what her lawyers are arguing.
Like she said that she killed them
because she was in a state of psychosis.
So what if she actually didn't kill them?
No, that is not in contention.
Hey, so because since we are talking about her mental state right now, that she said that.
No, so let's do it this way. People can go into a mental state, like people can have a mental psychosis or whatever, and still be aware. You can be aware of what you have done, but not be responsible. For instance, if someone takes drugs, right, and drugs, heavy alcohol, cocaine, whatever, he's intoxicated, and he drives his car and causes an accident. We all know that he is responsible for driving his car to cause an accident. But the argument is that his body was taken over by the cocaine, the drugs that he had taken. So, yes, she was self-aware that she did it. But
does she remember doing it?
She remembers doing it. She states in this particular civil suit how she did it and what she did in the process of doing it. In fact, she states that while she was doing it or strangling them, she said, "Go home, baby," basically saying, "Go to heaven." And to be clear, before the trial happened or before the trial began, there's something called stipulation of facts. Stipulation of fact basically means it's an agreement between the defense and the prosecution. Yeah. The prosecution in this particular case between the state and her is referred to as the Commonwealth. So between the Commonwealth and Lindsay have agreed that there are certain facts of this case that they do not want to argue on because they accept that they are factual. And in that stipulation of facts, it also came up there that yes, she did it. So just to be clear, what is happening in this trial is not a who did it trial. They have established that she did it.
Okay.
what is happening in this trial is the Commonwealth is trying to prove that she was sane when she did it. She was not intoxicated when she did it. Her defense is arguing that no,
She was.
she was, because she had been prescribed a couple of drugs and it was messing up with her health. And so what is happening in this trial so far is everyone trying to prove, based on what has happened over the months from September up to January of 2023, why they believe she was sane or not sane, right? So the trial judge in this particular case is Judge William Sullivan. The prosecutors for this case are Jennifer Sprague and Shannon Buckingham. They represent the Commonwealth. The defense is Kevin J. Reddington. Now, Kevin J. Reddington is a 40-year-old lawyer, a 40-year experienced lawyer. He's 75 years old, but he's been practicing law for 40 years. In fact, specifically criminal murder defense. He's been a defense lawyer for murders and stuff for all these years.
Like the way you're saying is like, what's your point?
No, I'm trying to tell my story. So
Hey.
he has the experience for 40 years. He's handled about over 100 cases or so, and all of that. And so, again, the defense is contesting that, yes, she did it, but, she is not criminally responsible and all of that. And I've talked about the stipulation of fact and all of that. So before the trial began, it is believed that before the trial began, in July, somewhere in July, I believe the 31st, the jury was taken to the locus pro.
Yeah.
And by the locus, I mean where the incident happened. So they have gone to the house, the crime scene, to observe the house, and they did not touch anything. They are not allowed to touch anything, just observe and stuff like that. Just to be clear, the house, after the incident, the house was sold by the family to another person, and currently I believe it's been re-enlisted or so. So the jury went there. Now, what is happening in this trial and what both parties are trying to explore are phone records. They are trying to explore the Apple Watch and health data of Lindsay.
Apple Watch.
Yes, because Lindsay had an Apple Watch that she used to wear. They are also looking into Patrick's movements. They are looking at surveillance footages. They are looking at physical evidence. They are looking at police investigation. Then they are looking at Lindsay's own statement. So that is what is being explored in this trial.
Okay.
Now, there's a very key moment in this trial that is what the focus is on, right? The focus is on what happened, because it is, like I said, Patrick came home around 6:11, made a call around 6:11 when he had gone home. But before that, he was not home. And there was a 45-minute window, very, very critical, because they believe that is when these killings happened. So let's go back to 24th and take it from like the what happened during the day before the incident. So during the day, Cora, the daughter, eldest, was having stomach issues, right? So Lindsay took her to the hospital. And Patrick was home with the others and was playing with Dawson, which is the second born. So they both exchanged images. Patrick sent Lindsay a picture of Dawson playing around, with his hands up in the air. Lindsay did the same. It was something they used to do. Based on the evidence that is coming up in trial, they used to exchange a lot of tests and pictures and stuff. And then she came back from the hospital, and they interacted for a while. They were, doing their family thing. But Patrick worked from home, from their basement. He had like a basement office where he used to work. So a bit later in the day, he went to the basement to work. Lindsay then went into the snow with the kids to play around. They exchanged pictures as well. At the time, Callan was believed to be sleeping. So it was Dawson and Cora who were playing with the mother, right? And then somewhere about, it's 4 p.m., she Googles Kate Maralax. Kate Maralax is sort of like a laxative for children, something along those lines, right? And then she Googled takeout 3V. 3V is a restaurant in their neighborhood. So then 45 minutes later, she called a pharmacy, CVS pharmacy, to ask about Maralax.
That's what she Googled.
No,
Or
she
another
actually
one.
called them. Yeah, that's what she Googled.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And then 8 minutes later at 4 p.m., 43 minutes, she tested Patrick. Any chance that you can take out, you can do a takeout at 3V. Basically, she was asking Patrick if she can go and take food from 3V.
Okay.
Right? Because she didn't cook anything and it's been a long day. That's what she said. Right? So now let's zoom into the 45 minutes window. So 5:15, Patrick leaves home, and by 5:32, he's seen on surveillance footage entering the CVS pharmacy.
Yeah.
Right? So he goes to the pharmacy, and then just a minute later, he calls Lindsay. Lindsay did not reply. And then a minute after Patrick calls and he didn't answer, she called Patrick back, and they talked for 14 seconds. Basically, Patrick was asking her, I'm at the pharmacy, I'm not finding Maralax, so can I take something else? And she said yes. Right? So Patrick now leaves CVS at 3:47. Let's take note of the time. And then he goes to 3V. He arrives at 3V around 5:54. And then by 6 p.m., he returns home. Another key thing here. So it is believed that at 6 p.m. when he got home, and from his own testimony, he started looking around, trying to find everyone. He wasn't finding everyone. So he moved around, went to the basement, called people out, put the takeouts, whatever he brought down. And at 6:09, 6 o'clock, 9 minutes, he called Lindsay's number. And Lindsay did not reply. And so he climbed to their room. He climbed to their room trying to find her.
Yeah.
And then notices that there was blood in their bedroom, and the window to their bedroom was open. So she rushes down to go and see Lindsay on the floor, ground there. And so from the 2 minutes when he calls Lindsay, and Lindsay doesn't pick up, and then eventually finds out that he has fallen. He calls 911. So at 9:11, he calls 911, right? Before I go further into what has happened so far in trial, I'm going to give a brief of what people have said, like some of the testimonies that has been heard in the trial.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of the medications that she was prescribed, right? She was prescribed 13 medications over the period.
She was taking the 13.
No, not at the same time. She wasn't taking them at the same time. And in fact, at the time that she tried to take her own life, it is believed that she had mixed a couple of drugs, and in her toxicology report, they found 6 medications in her system. Now, this is very vital because the prosecution is saying that because of these medications that they found in her system, it's sort of moved her to that state that she found herself to eventually do the killing of her kids, right? And so they found these six drugs. One is Lamictal. Lamictal was in a therapeutic range. Basically, it wasn't something that wasn't high. It wasn't high. It was normal dose. They found Trazodone, which was also in relatively low. Then they found Remeron. Remeron too was therapeutic. Then they found Seroquel. Seroquel is one that they are arguing about, because that one was a bit higher, but it wasn't toxic, at least according to the toxicology report. Then they found the diazepam. The diazepam was low as well. Then they found 2 other drugs. So all of these drugs they believe was low. None was too high enough to put her in that state. Now this is vital because, again, like I said, her mental state is what is in contention right now.
Yeah.
So everyone has proved their point. But in the trial, what has come out is that, just like you asked, was she taking all the medications? The prosecution is trying to say that Lindsay herself wasn't necessarily taking these drugs. She wasn't taking the drugs as she should. So they gave a list of some of the drugs and what they found. So they found out that she was prescribed on, and we are going to do a timeline, on September 15th, when she started reporting that she was not feeling well and all of that. She was prescribed Zoloft. Now Zoloft is obviously it's a brand name for a generic medicine called sertraline. So sertraline was prescribed to her on 15 September. She had 30 tablets that she had to take.
Hey, 30,
but she only took 7.
Okay, not like at a go.
Not at a go.
Spread out.
No, spread out. I mean, like how we take. She only took 7. And then in October of 2026, she was prescribed another medication, lorazepam. Lorazepam too, she took 16 tablets out of 30. Then that same day, she was prescribed buspirone. Buspirone, she only took 2 tablets out of the 30. Then hydrozidine. Hydrozidine too, she took 3 only out of the 30. So
okay, so if I'm understanding, all these drugs that they've prescribed for her that she's supposed to take, like it obviously has been spread across 30. Was it like within the same time frame that she was taking all of these drugs within the same time frame?
3 of them were in the same. These 3 that I've mentioned so far, they were prescribed to her on the same day. You have to remember, based on the timelines, her state had advanced. Okay. You remember that it's also the time that she called her mom that she was not feeling all right and all of that. So she was given 3 medications. And out of the 3 medications, the one that she took the most was the lorazepam, where she took 16. The rest, she took 2 each, 2 and 3 respectively out of the 30.
That she was supposed to.
Yes. And then in November 25th, she was prescribed another medication. She took 2% of the. She took 2%. So she took, it was 14 tablets. She took about 2 or so. And then previously she had been prescribed another medication. Basically, all I'm going about is that, and what the prosecution is trying to say is that she herself, it looks like she wasn't taking the medication that she had been prescribed.
To make her feel better.
Because the prosecution is also arguing that
she knows what she did.
No, the defense is arguing that she didn't get the needed treatment.
Oh, okay. So because they are saying she didn't get a
needed treatment, they are also saying that no, she was.
You got the treatment, but you decided not to take the medication.
Because yes, exactly. Right.
So who was checking? Because for somebody like this, somebody should be assigned to checking that this person is taking their medication. Because mind you, this person has been prescribed with anxiety disorder and insomnia and all of these things. So I feel like somebody needs to be there to make sure that this person is taking their drugs.
Her husband, Patrick, and the defense are saying that the reason why she took some of the doses, she took these particular amounts, was because the medications were changed by the new doctors. Right? It wasn't like she decided that she was not going to take it. The doctors were the ones who said that, we prescribe another medication for you, so don't take this.
Okay.
That is what they are saying. So, I guess there was a little monitoring, but they are saying that it happened because, not necessarily, but the prosecution then is saying that no, that's not the case. It was because during the trial, and maybe I should get into that right now, during the trial, what has happened so far is there was a detective who came to the stands to testify, to give a testimony for the prosecution. And by giving a testimony for the prosecution doesn't mean that he's trying to make or tell a story to support the prosecution. He's a policeman, so he's giving this facts. It was a prosecution that called him. So he said that, and his job was to do, like, he did a search on, like health data and all of that. And he said that there were several times that Lindsay would search for postpartum depression. She would do searches about psychosis. She would do searches about psychiatric conditions. And then also, she would do searches about if the drugs were working all right. So, for instance, let's say me. I've been times I've started taking some paracetamol or something, and I have a condition, and I'll type, I feel blah 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 blah, but I'm taking paracetamol. Is it right? So they are saying that she was doing those searches to convince herself that these drugs are not helping, so that she could move to another medication.
Okay.
And mind you, she was a health professional as well, not necessarily a doctor, but she was a nurse. So she had like some sort of knowledge, right? Exactly. So that's what they are arguing. But so far, what has happened in the trial is that there have been 75 people who have testified.
Yeah.
Both from the prosecution side and the defense side. The prosecution definitely leading the way. They called about 63 people, different people. Some of them include family members. Obviously, they've interviewed. Testimonies have been given by co-workers. Testimonies have been given by physicians and forensic people, psychiatrists, people. They've spoken to experts, all these people. So it's a wide range of people. But it's a few of them that are very vital to the case. Like, their testimonies are very vital to the case. In the defense's case, in the prosecution's case or the Commonwealth's case, there's about 10 specific people whose testimony are vital to the case.
Okay.
Right? That includes Patrick Clancy, her husband, obviously. Jennifer Tufts was the psychiatrist before the killings.
The psychiatrist.
Yes.
The online, the one that they used to have the online sessions.
Yes. And then there's Rebecca. Rebecca was also a psych doctor from December 2022 to what's the name? To January when the incident happened. She had at least met Lindsay at least once physically, right? And then there's a Alia Goodhart, who was her doctor when she checked herself in a McLean hospital, right? Then there's the policeman Timothy, who gave the details and stuff. Then there's Dr. Sejal. Dr. Sejal is a psych evaluator who attended to her 2 days after the incident.
After the killings. After
the killings, right? 2 days after. There's also Dr. Bishwas, who is also another evaluator, who saw her 4 days. Sorry, Bishwas saw her 2 days after, and then Sejal saw her 5 days after her. So these are the people whose testimony have been vital to the case for the defense, for the Commonwealth. Then with the defense, they've had testimonies from Paul Musgrove, who is the mother of Paula Musgrove, who's the mother of Lindsay.
Okay.
They've also talked to her sister. They've also had testimony from Patrick's mother, which is Lindsay's in-law, Madam Susan Clancy. They've also spoken to a former co-worker of hers called Margaret Hamp. And all these people, I'll go briefly into what they've said so far. Then they've spoken to a defense psychiatrist who basically is employed by the defense to come and punch holes in the defense's opinion about her psych and stuff, who is Dr. Donald. And then they've also spoken to Elizabeth Laposta, who is an anatomic and forensic expert. Basically, what Laposta came to do in the trial was to say that, to explain that, yes, she did try to commit suicide or self-harm based on her injuries. So again, just to be clear, she agrees that yes, after the killing, she wanted to end her life. That's why she cut her wrist and then tried to cut her neck off and stuff like that. And then there's Sheila Kavanaugh. Sheila Kavanaugh was a chaplain at the Brigham and Women's Hospital, and she also said something very vital. So then lastly, there's someone who they tried to introduce into the trial, the defense. This is a nurse, but also a TikToker, right? So she's a nurse who used to work at McLean Hospital from 2014 to December of 2021. And she left there. She stopped working there. But when the trial started happening, the defense called up Dr. Alia Goodhart from McLean, and she made a list of what they used to do for her over there. Like, she engaged in painting, she engaged in a group help. They did that. And so this lady, Emilia Thorndike, was supposed to come. The defense was trying to bring her because she had made a TikTok saying that, no, when I was working there, that is not how I work, blah, blah, blah. So the defense was trying to bring her in. But unfortunately, after her voir dire, basically after trying to confirm if she's someone who can be allowed to speak on it in the trial, and the voir dire is not done in the presence of the jury. So they did that, and the judge ruled that she was not fit to be part of the trial. Basically, the defense brought her to come and talk about her experiences over there. But the prosecution said, boss, Emily, the time that Lindsay was there, you were not working there. So you cannot come in.
Then it makes sense. You can't come in.
You come and say what used to happen there. Because what you used to know there might have changed. So she wasn't allowed. And so now let's go to some of the key points. We are about ending. But let's go to some of the key points, right? So the key points in this is that, and some of them, on the 24th, Patrick says that during the day when they exchange the pictures and stuff, note this carefully. She said Lindsay was having one of her best days. So it looks like she was having a good day. Unfortunately, before the incident, right? And I've talked about Lindsay's searches and stuff. She made some searches before the killings about how to kill yourself or something along how to cut your throat or something along those lines. Now, so the defense is arguing that yes, this shows that she wanted to harm herself, right? And so that is what the defense is lunging onto. Then also that same day, there's another search she did on January 20th, so 4 days before she searched about psychosis, information about psychosis and all of that. But even the day before, she searched information about hallucination. Like, she made searches about postpartum depression, psychosis, all of that. All these searches, the defense is trying to say, yes, she was genuinely trying to get help. In the defense, exactly. So then, yes, her doctor, like Jennifer, who was her psych doctor from before the incident, talked. Yeah, she appeared to be depressed, and all of that. But she did not tell me that she was, obviously she said that she was suicidal as well. She actually said that she was suicidal in October 25th, the day before she was prescribed the 3 medications, and also prior to her calling, texting her mom that she needed her around, she had made notes on her phone. And these notes, I'll give you a bit of details about some of the things she said. Basically, she said that she was feeling less connected to Callan, which is the 8-month-old baby. Yeah. And she was feeling resentment towards her other 2 children because it feels like, she say in the notes, she said that they prevented her from giving the attention that Callan needed.
Okay.
Then she also, in the notes, she talked about not feeling not feeling love and connection towards the children. Like all of these, she was, and then also she was struggling on whether to start a medication that she has been prescribed. All of these were in the searches and all of that, yeah. And again, like I said, on that 20th, she's told how to slit your throat, turning off airbags in a Kia Sorento, all of that.
Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, it shows the state of mind that she was in. Now, some of the key people who I've already mentioned were very vital to the case. Rebecca Jolata, who was one of her side doctors from November to the day the incident happened. She also made some notes down. Basically, she said that, and this is again something that's in contention, that Lindsay sometimes took medications for a shorter period after it had been prescribed if she did not like the effects.
Okay.
Right? And,
She doesn't like how it makes her
and
feel.
makes her feel, right? So she'll stop. But also, she said that she expressed suicidal thoughts and stuff. But the thing is, from the prosecution side and from the doctors who were taking care of her, they said that they did not record any psychotic symptoms. And that's why they did not diagnose her with postpartum psychosis, even though she had postpartum depression. But it wasn't, the symptoms they observed wasn't enough to diagnose her with that psychosis or with her being psychotic, right? But Dr. Paul was one of the doctors, the doctor who came to take care of, who evaluated her after the incident, right? After the incident. And he is sort of in line with the defense's theory. Basically, Dr. Paul says that Lindsay told him that he was hearing voices.
Okay.
The day of the incident, he was hearing voices to take the lives of the children. Like, this is her last chance.
Hey, Charlie.
That's what the voices she was hearing. Again, this was the day of the incident. She wasn't hearing voices before. The day of the incident. And then the chaplain, the chaplain Sheila, she also told the same thing to Sheila. In fact, it is believed that the kids were buried in February, somewhere in February, and
But I thought they said they what do they call that thing when they burn the body?
they incriminated them, cremated them. I'm not sure of that. All I know is that they had a funeral then they were buried. That's all I know.
When
they
I was
could be
looking
cremated
at the
or
story,
whatever.
the TikTok people said that Patrick asked.
But you see, all of these, and I will get to that, and so keep this particular thing, and then I'll get to the theories, and then when we get there, you can tell me this, and I'll explain what happened. So all of this is done, and all of so the prosecution side and the doctors who took care of her before the incident say that she never told them she was hearing voices, right? Now it is Dr. Paul and Sheila, the chaplain of the women's hospital, who are saying that she told them that
She was hearing voices.
she was hearing voices. And in fact, she had used Dr. Paul's phone to call Paul and basically she told Paul, then this is what Dr. Paul said, that she told Paul that she loves him and
She loves Paul.
she loves Patrick. She talked to Patrick and told Patrick that she loves him. And the day of the incident, she was hearing voices and all of that and stuff like that. So that's what has some of the key things that has happened in the trial so far. Like I said, yesterday was the 17th. I've watched all of it and watched some of the key parts. I haven't watched everything because, like I said, I'm not going to sit down and watch 75 people talk about it. But the key ones I've watched, and the last 17 was yesterday. Yeah. Today is day 18. They might call another. I think her lawyer, Kevin Reddington, will call one more person, and then I just believe that on Monday they'll say everything. They will have their closing arguments. So now let's get into some of the theories online coming out from people about this thing. For some people, they believe that Patrick, her husband, was the one who did it.
Yes.
And Lindsay did not do anything. Patrick did it, trying to hide, and try to kill Lindsay as well, and all of that. So let's go through some of them. Let's talk about the one you wanted to ask, and then I'll go through some of mine.
Yeah, it was about the children's bodies being like he asked that
Cremated.
Yes.
And what are they saying about that?
So they are saying that because first of all, they were saying that when the police people came, they to the scene and everything. Before that, Patrick was just he was just there. He was just standing there when he went to meet everything. He was just standing there. He didn't really do much. But immediately he saw the police arrive and everything. That's when he started touching the kids and wailing.
So
let's
go through that, and that is not true. In fact, when he made they played. That's something I forgot. They played the 911 call in trial. Was not played to the public because apparently it is very disheartening and very, very, very crazy. So they played it to the jury and the people in the room. Some of them have come out to see what happened. In it, Patrick calls 911 and is talking to Lindsay while she's on the phone. And it's his head in the call that she asked Lindsay, "Where are the kids?"
Okay.
And Lindsay sees basements.
Even with regards to...
I'm coming that.
Okay.
So he says basement. And then he rushes down to the basement. And the people in the courtroom reports, they say, this was in the call, Patrick started shouting and screaming because that is when he had found the kids.
Okay.
Right? And then the police came around and stuff. And at some point, when the police got to the basement, he stopped whatever he was doing to go and sit in the sofa in the basement, right? So this might be what they might be talking about. So again, that is not true. That is not true. About the cremation bits, one thing, I'm sorry to say this, but it's very lame for you to think that once someone is murdered, they already do an autopsy before they are buried, whether they are going to be cremated or whatever. It is legal. When someone is murdered in America, even Ghana here, they will do an autopsy. They will do a postmortem. So everything they had to do with the children had been done already. So whether they decided to cremate them or not, it doesn't matter. Because whatever the police have to do or whatever forensic people have to do with their bodies, they have done it already. All right? Now, another thing that they are saying is that people are saying is that Lindsay, the voices that Lindsay says she was hearing was from Patrick. The day, the time that she was pushed to go and do it. Mind you, Patrick was not home. Now they are saying that maybe there might be some speakers or Alexa somewhere in the room who was saying them.
I saw another one of them saying that with the whole timing and everything, it feels like everything was planned by Patrick because the time that he went to the store, the time him coming back, receiving the call, they even feel like some of the text message that he sent, the lady sent, it was he that sent it. And then they were even saying that they use the Apple Watch theory thing too as well. And they feel like everything was plotted by Patrick.
So another thing, so let's go into that. You have to know that anytime a forensic is done on a phone, there is a cellular data. Basically, they ping where these tests were sent from. Right now, if I send a test to someone, even 3 kilometers away from here, when I test the person, it will show where I am testing from. Same way, it will show from where Patrick was testing from. So that is not in contention. They know that because they can point out where the test was coming from. So yes, they know that the test and the call from Lindsay was coming from their house. They also know that the test from Patrick was coming from.
When they asked him in court that where was the text sent from, he said he doesn't remember because they were using the theory of that he being the one who sent the text from the basement.
So here's the thing about all of these things. You know, the same way we are believing that someone can go through some state of trauma and behave a certain way, we can give him the same benefit of the
Grace.
doubt that there are things that he's not exactly remembering. And I'll maybe in the conclusion, I'll go into his habits and stuff.
Okay, there was another one too where the nurse, like they were asking him that was he aware that the lady was going for therapy sessions and all of those things. He said he wasn't aware of any of them. He said he wasn't aware of any of them. That one I watched the video myself. And then the nurse that was one of the nurse, they asked that is this like true? They even asked that as he knows the nurse. He was like, no, he doesn't know. And the nurse was saying that he has come before. Like from the reports which she was bringing, she has brought him before, and they even asked her how long did that session last, and she was like, "Oh, it lasted for like about 30 minutes." That day, she came with him. So it's like, why are you saying that you don't know anything about?
Where I'm coming, you are saying the nurse asked him.
No, they asked him in court.
Yes.
Whichever lawyer was.
So you see, here's the thing about this trial, and that's why I'm talking about all these TikTok stuff. What is happening is people are putting videos together without showing the full context, and it will bring a lot of confusion to people, right? In the trial, for instance, there's one bit of the trial where he's asked about if he knew what happened in the hospital when Lindsay checked in at McLean, right? And he was saying, no, I'm not aware of that. And someone put that together and put it online, making it seem like he did not care or not know what was going on in his wife's life, right? And that is a problem, right? Because that is not what happened at all. Most of the videos that you see online are staged to make, a party look mad, or even people who are supporting that Lindsay should be in prison. Yeah. They are also putting videos together, make it feel like, for instance, the part where she talked about not feeling love for her kids. Yeah. People are taking that out of context to make it look like she was saying she hated, but what was happening was she was expressing what she was feeling from day to day. Yeah. You see, so we have to be careful about these things. Exactly. One thing is, Patrick went to many hospital visits with her. There are several times. In fact, for all the pregnancies and all when the babies came out, she took paternity leave for all of them. So then there's also a bit about, like, for instance, they found Patrick had some of her medications, and it's believed that those medications, and he said it himself when he came to why some of the medications had a lot of pills in them. Like, it means that she wasn't taking them. And she was saying, nah, it was discontinued. So some of the pills was in his possession, right? So he knew what was going on. They had nannies. They had a nanny come to the house. Their parents were also helping, taking care of her. The thing was, they knew that something was wrong with her. In fact, Patrick was one of the people to always tell doctors that her condition is not getting better. She's getting bad. So the idea that he was not immersed in the whole process is not something that is true. There's also another theory that, like, he married someone 4 months after the incident, which is not true. He got married this year in April of 2026. He met the person in 2024. They started dating in 2024, and the theory that this person was involved in together with the whole thing is not true. Now you have to remember.
There's a video where a lady is saying that the wife follows one of the witnesses that is also a doctor, a nurse doctor who also came, and then they were asking her questions saying, I don't remember, I don't have a photographic memory. So they're like, she knows the wife. So it's part of the theories that people are making, that, like, since it's looking like they are all involved in whatever is going on.
You have to remember, first of all, so right now Patrick moved 4 months after the incident to New York. He left the he left the state to New York. He's living in New York. That's where they met and all of that. Someone following someone because they are in the same profession. Like for instance, if you see Taylor Marick following another designer from Kumasi, it's not weird.
Is the wife, the new wife?
The new wife is a doctor.
Okay.
He's a natural doctor. Okay. Like she's a doctor. Now,
I heard somebody in the comment section came to say, oh, they follow each other because they ran together during some marathon, something.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Like it's not weird. Now another thing too is if Patrick was cheating on Lindsay at that time this incident happened, it was going to be even better for the prosecution. Because the prosecution will say, oh, Lindsay found out that Patrick was dating someone and that put her in a state of psychosis and
but
blah,
then
blah, blah.
people are also saying that it's because he was dating somebody, he wanted to leave the family. So it's like, I'm ending everybody and just go.
Yeah, so again,
it goes both sides.
Yeah, so it comes to my point that you have to remember that their phones were searched thoroughly. And that is how come they got her personal notes and stuff. And if there was anything happening between the two, that connection would have come out. You have to remember, Patrick was in where they were. The doctor was in another place. So all of these, and you have to remember. Okay, let me put this across. So there are several times that investigators don't do full investigation. Maybe they like the person, they like one person or something. And so they don't go in hard, they don't look at other possibilities. But that is where the defense come in. So what defense teams and lawyers do is they go the extra mile to search the other theories. Who could have possibly done this? Blah, blah, blah. That is not happening in this case. Kevin Reddington and their team, they are not looking into that. In fact, in doing this trial, Patrick's own parents, her mother, is testifying for Lindsay, basically saying that no, she was not right, she was not feeling okay, she was not doing well. That thing is not part of this or her defense is not looking at that because they do not believe that. Now, they could have done that, but they have already done that.
The defense don't believe she was not feeling well.
No, the defense don't believe that Patrick was the one who did the killing. Cool. Or they did not believe that he was cheating. All of this would have come up. Because they also could have said that because Patrick was cheating, that is why, another reason, together with the medication, that is why she got into that psychotic thing. There's another theory that Patrick went to Croatia for vacation after the incident, and she went together with the new wife, which is not true. Now, what happened in that particular moment was he went to Croatia. I think he took a boat or whatever. He went on a cruise or whatever, and someone who has the same name as his current wife's name, Rachel, went to make a comment or put a review on that particular cruise because she had also been there. And so the assumption is that it's her. But she, in fact, she has the same name on her TikTok, actually. You can go to TikTok, you see that she has said that, hey, it's not me. Like, leave me alone. I'm not the one. And so that is also something that can obviously be thrown away. Then there are allegations that they did not find Lindsay's DNA on the elastic bands that was used to strangle the children, which is also not true. What happened with the DNA evidence during the trial is that they found the DNA of multiple people on the elastic band. You have to remember, Patrick was the last person to see the kids, and he was the one who took the elastic bands off the necks of the kids. So he left a significant amount of DNA on those elastic bands. But because it was in their home, and because they had parents and people coming over there, it is not wild that they would have, in any case, if that is the theory that people want to go by, then you can say that the other people whose DNA was on the elastic band were the ones who also did it. So that has been proven in the trial to be false. There's a theory that he did it and made her believe that she did it. Again, you have to remember, her mental state was checked continuously before the incident and after. If someone is mad or someone is mentally unstable throughout a particular time period, doctors can tell. The reason why experts are saying that she went into a state of psychosis was because they want to paint the picture of her mental state at the time of the thing. Now, at the time of right now, she's okay. As in, she's not psychotic. She's self-aware. If she wasn't self-aware, the experts defending who are part of the defense's team would say that. So that idea that he put words in her head, and she's saying that I did it because Patrick said it is also proven to not be factual. Another thing that people are looking at is that she couldn't talk. People have said that she couldn't talk. That is also not true because, again, when the 911 call was played in trial, she could talk. At least she said basement. So that theory is also out of the way. Another theory, Patrick wasn't investigated and he had a family member who was a police officer. Yeah. That is also not true. For instance, if we take if Headless's surname is Headless, and during a particular incident we find another Headless in a particular workplace, the fact that they have the same surname does not mean they are related. So that is that is also out of the way. He wasn't investigated is not true because that is why there was forensics on his movements. There was surveillance on his movements. There were forensic experts who went through his phone and everything. That is also done. Again, you have to, like I said, if someone is using a phone, it pings on a cellular tower to show that this person is around this area. So unless he's a ghost. Another theory is that he changed clothes from when he left the CVS to the 3V restaurant. And the theory is that after he left CVS, he went to the house to do the killing and drive to 3V. First of all, the duration is not even possible unless he teleported from CVS to 3V restaurant. That's one theory. Another thing is that people are watching videos from different surveillance cameras and angles and believing what they are believing. It is not true. He did not change clothes. He's seen wearing the same pair of brown boots. And those brown boots they found in the house, there's no shoe anywhere. So this is also another lie. They say there's another theory that he sold his house to the current prosecutor of the case, and that's why he wasn't looked into, which is also not true. He sold the house to a former prosecutor. That former prosecutor, his name is Michael Fippen. He is a former prosecutor who worked there from 2016 to 2018. The Plymouth community where they are having a trial right now, or who are prosecuting this case. He worked there to 2018.
The thing hadn't happened.
The thing hadn't even happened. And you have to remember, let's say around here, this is what, Community 18. Community 18, if we decide to sell this studio, and it's a small community. If someone from some here comes to buy the house, it doesn't mean that they have some personal relationship or whatever. And a lot of times, some of these houses, they are even publicly listed. Like if I want to sell my house, I don't go around Obeto. Nah, it's publicly listed. And then whoever is interested in the place will buy it. In fact, Michael has even re-enlisted the property or so. So again, that is not out of the way. There's also a reason why her defense is bringing defense experts to come and prove that she tried to kill herself. So the thought that if her defense believed that Patrick was the one who slit her wrist and slit her throat and pushed her down their story for her to fall down, they will not be calling experts to come and tell the jury that she tried to kill herself, because the prosecution is also arguing that she didn't try to kill herself via she was faking it, right? So all these theories, people have to tone down. Now we have to remember, and the question I'm asking everyone, why would this man who wants to kill his whole family, kill the kids, and somehow leave the wife alive for police to come and talk to her? As it stands now, she can talk. And her lawyer says her lawyers are not saying she's not sane. She's very, very sane. And if Patrick was the one who told her to do anything, this is the moment for her to tell us that Patrick tried to kill me and I survived.
What if at that time she was on drugs or something?
And I'm saying that she's sane right now. She can tell the story.
Yeah, but like she was on drugs in that moment. So whatever happened in that moment, even if she's conscious now, she wouldn't have memory of it.
No, so you know that someone can be psychotic and still have memory of what they did. So these are two different things.
Let's assume that like there's also that part of it that's okay. What if she actually doesn't remember?
That's what I'm saying. She remembers because she has stated what she did. Like there's a whole list that she has made. I started feeling blah blah blah. I strangled, and in fact, there's a reason why I even forgot to say this. They know that she strangled at least each child for 5 minutes. So you have to, how did they know? And they are looking. The Apple Watch data is there. Now people are saying, they found an Apple Watch the Apple Watch wasn't wearing it. Someone is trying to cut her wrist. Why would the person be wearing Apple Watch? They will put it away. So all these theories, and again, lastly, Patrick is not on trial. He is not on trial because the state and her own defense does not believe that he did it. In fact, they called Patrick to come and speak to the character of Lindsay, basically telling, and Patrick was very, very good about that. That, in fact, before in 2024, he did an interview with a New York reporter when he moved to New York, and he told people that people should forgive her and that she did not marry a monster. 2024. She did not marry a monster. She did not marry a monster, and she married a good woman who got sick. So even Patrick is defending her. Basically, everyone in the family, together with the defense, are trying to say that, look, yes, we know what she did, but she was not right at the time she did it.
She was not sane.
And they are not saying she was not right the whole time, or the whole time she was depressed. They were saying that she got into a psychotic state in that moment when she did it. So, and to be honest, whatever theory you have, in the grand scheme of things, it will not do anything. And one thing I would say is, I think that we have missed the plot heavily.
Why are you saying
that? And
I
say this because for someone like me, and people who are close to me will tell you this, I'm very, very concerned about women's health. Because, and it's sad that this has gotten to this stage where we are trying to find who did what. When everyone should be rallying about mental health. And postmortem mental health, and postmortem depression, and postmortem psychosis. This is the conversation that should be going on. In fact, do you know that the trial started, I believe, on the 6th or so? 3 days prior, there's another incident recorded like this from another woman. Her name is Hailey Earhart. Hailey Earhart has also killed 3 of her children, tried to kill 3 of her children. One of them survived. And this one, what happened was she actually took a gun to kill herself and them. And her husband fought her off. Her husband was in the house. And her husband's mother, or I believe her own mother, was in the house. The husband fought her off, took the gun, broke it into pieces. And for some reason, he was able to knock the husband off with something. And went to take a knife, slit the throat of her kids, and held one of the babies whilst her husband was telling her to stop and telling her, say your last prayers, I'm going to kill him, and blah, blah, blah. And actually tried to kill the child. And then the husband had called the police. When the police came, it was a standoff. They talked to her. She had a knife to her throat that she was going to kill herself, blah, blah, blah. Like, in her case, she had been in a mental institution for 18 months. And they released her that she was okay to come and take care of her children. And this happened. This is clearly someone who was psychotic. And these are the conversations we should be having. If the energy going into the theories, if everyone backed it up to support mental health and how we should look into this thing, it will be very helpful. Right now, you are doing he did it, she did it. It does not help for anyone, because right now, what it has done is it has created a section on social media, and now it has become women haters and men haters. It has become feminist and meninist. It has become misandrist. Yes. It's a whole lot of things going on because of this case. And it very much annoys me because, again, we are missing the plot. Look, I particularly feel, and even if I don't fully agree that she did it because she entered a state of psychosis, it is clear that everything that put her in that position is because of her postmortem depression. And it is clear. She was not well. Everyone have said it. Even the prosecution or Commonwealth is saying that she was not well. So something definitely happened, and maybe we can argue that they did not help of it, professionals did not take care of her well, and that's why the civil lawsuit is there. That will be handled later. But my point is, this whole idea of who did what and who did the killing is not necessary right now, because every theory that you have thought of online, from looking at the evidence you are watching from just 2 weeks ago, her defense team had 3 years to look into it. And they have looked at all of it and said, no, she did it. But she did it because of a reason. So let's all cool down. Let's put the support in the right place. Yeah. If you see that there are soldiers who go to war and they have PTSD and stuff. Yeah. When a soldier who has PTSD kills, and some of them, there are a lot of stories about that. People who are experiencing, men who are experiencing PTSD and they kill their family and stuff. No one goes on to say, our professional did not take care of him. He was having PTSD, blah, blah, blah. And so, no one makes excuses. The fight has always been people, and it's something that even former military men and then army and people from the U.S. Marine and stuff have been saying that they are not people, when they come from war, they do not get the necessary care. And that's where the argument should be. There have been men who have killed their own family all the time, and then the wife has survived. No one go to ask the wife questions, how they did it, you were the one who did it. Because the evidence is there. You see? So let's look at the evidence from what is happening in the trial, not what people are saying online. And again, if let's say you see a video where someone is making a commentary about the trial, let them play a video, watch the video to the end. If you are not sure, you can easily Google. Like, there are a lot of these things you can Google. A lot of these things you can easily Google. Yeah. Don't listen to what people are saying, whether those who support that Lindsay should be put in jail or those who think Patrick did it. Because in the grand scheme of things, whatever you are thinking now, the trial is unfolding. So, by Monday, like I said, the closing statements will happen and the jury will make their decision. There's a disagreement and talk about what about the trial, because the judge said before the trial started, the judge told the jury that by the end of the trial they should find if Lindsay was if something along the lines of if there's reasonable doubt and stuff like that. And so because of that, people are saying that this trial is to determine whether she killed the kids or not. But you see, it's a legal trial. They cannot they have to state everything like it's an actual trial where no one has said they are responsible for it. But that, again, has been stated in the stipulation of facts for this trial. So that is not in contention. And so, for instance, let's say after Monday, the trial, the jury comes up with a verdict, and they say they do not find Lindsay criminally responsible for the killings. It does not mean that now the prosecution or defense is going to find who did it, because that is not what is there, right? But it helps in where she's going to spend the rest of her life. For instance, if she is, the verdict comes out that she's criminally responsible, she's going to spend her life in jail. But when it comes out that she's not criminally responsible, she is going to spend her life in a mental hospital, looking like a jail basically, because her movement will be restricted. Mind you, when she was at Tewksbury, the hospital, and where she is now coming to trial, it's on serious, like they almost like police is everywhere. In fact, when after the trial, her hand was cuffed to her bed. Her hand was cuffed to her bed. In fact, before Dr. Paul was able to see her, he had to go through several steps of security before he was allowed to see her. So that is what is going to happen if she's not found guilty. She's not going to go home free unless, again, after she's put into that mental hospital or the state hospital or whatever, the psych doctors and stuff come out and say, oh, now she's okay and blah, blah, blah. She can live her life and blah, blah, blah. But she's not walking free like that, even if she's not criminally found. And again, they are not going to now start looking at Patrick when she's not found criminally responsible. So that is the details of this case. Everyone should chill down. Do you have any other theories or questions about this?
Yeah.
And if anyone is watching this and they want to ask questions, they can put in their questions.
Yeah.
I am ready to answer all of them because I've gone through this very, very, very much. And so let's direct our attention to the mental health bit of this conversation, because I believe that, and postpartum depression, for that a lot of men believe, some men, not a lot of men, there are still men who don't believe postpartum depression. What do you mean you are depressed because you gave birth? But that is a reality. It's the psychotic bit that is what people are arguing about, right? Because the truth is, there haven't been so many cases where women have killed their children and related to postpartum psychosis, right? In fact, there's a particular case of a very popular one that happened in the 90s or so, a woman called Andre Hates. Andre Hates also killed her children and stuff like that, and but eventually it went to appeal also years later on technicality, and I think she was left or whatever. And in fact, during the trial, the co-worker of Lindsay, had said something along the lines that they were having a conversation about depression and stuff, and they talked about Andre, and Lindsay said, how could a mother be so wicked or kill their children because of this, So all of these are very, very important. And so again, let's all cool down. But yeah, it's been another episode of Crime de la Crime. Of course, before we leave, you have to get these for your soccer pimps. Very smooth ones. This is the strawberry flavor. It's not one you can go and chew. It's not one you can go and eat. I beg you. It's not strawberry that you can put in your mashke. But you need it. It smells nice, based from what I've heard from people.
From what you've heard,
From what I've heard from people. Then there's also the lubricant that you can use to make things smooth. Also smells very, very nice. And so, yes, it's been another episode of Crime de la Crime. This one we went international a bit because this case is very vital. And again, I want people to look at it from the angle of what is necessary, which is women need help after birth. Now,
mental health.
You got anything to say?
Anyone, whatever Till America said, we've delved into it. Now we know the facts and then the TikTok theories. Again.
Whatever theory you formed online, in the grand scheme of things, and sensationalism is not going to change anything because the trial itself is unfolding in a proper court of law.
So yes, let's take mental health
serious,
whether man, woman, child.
Yeah.
Mental health is mental health, and it gets serious. So anybody at all, if somebody tells you that they are going through something, let's take it serious. Any way we can help And let's allow it, like Dela Marie is saying. Let's not just focus on the who did it, she did it, this one killed this one, and let's focus on the side of mental health.
And let's stop the gender wars. You are. I'm sorry, it's very lame. Like people are being so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm not going to even pass it.
Feminists.
No, like some of these things it worries me because we are starting to look at issues with the lenses of
gender.
It doesn't help anyone. That's the same thing we've done with rape.
Yeah.
Once a man is accused of rape, every woman is, yes, he did it, and every woman is saying, no, he did not do it. Even when the facts are presented. And see, why?
I don't know.